So up to second order system we have covered. Right. So today we will cover up to your Bode plot. Right. So the remaining we will cover tomorrow. Right. So today's topic will be whatever revision today we are going to do will be our control system, stability, instability. We will cover route test and Bode's plot, how offset calculation, right, gain margin, phase margin, etc. Right. Last part we will be covering tomorrow. Right. So this is the part. So this is what we are going to revise today. So first of all, in control system, right? So if you remember in control system, the first topic we covered was types of variables. I hope you have the book so that class notebook or everything, so that you should be able to revise this, right? So types of variables. In that we are having what? We are having input variables and output variables. This output variable is also called control variables. Right. So whatever we want to control, right? So whatever we want to control. Now, or we can say the user input, whatever set point, right? User input is our set point, right? So that part is our control variable, right? And again, whichever variable, right? So if you see in input, you're having two type of input. One is your disturbances, right? So next one is manipulated variable, right? So what is the meaning of manipulated variable, right? So normally the manipulated variable we can identify by the variables which are attached with the wall, right? Variable which are attached with the wall, or we are able to control it, right? So by a human operator, we are able to control that, right? So based on this, we have discussed in the class mainly 3 or 4 examples we have discussed, right? I hope you remember, right? So we have discussed more than 3 or 4 examples with different diagrams. So go through that as well, right? So that is the first part of our control system, right? Then the first type of control system we have discussed was our feedback control system, right? So you have to go through a general feedback control system, then identify, right? So what's happening in there, right? So what was the equation for closed loop transfer function, right? So the closed loop transfer function is the forward path divided by 1 plus open loop transfer function, right? So this was the basic equation, right? So based on this, we have done a lot of problems. So block diagram deduction is another part, right? So if you have a simplified block diagram easily by this equation, you will be able to write. So let us just check 1 or 2 things we have discussed in the class, because I don't want to draw it on the board. So I will show in the as a photo. So it will be easier for me to explain as well. One second, right? So like this, right? So this is a, we can see the controller GC, GF is our final control element, right? GP is our process, right? So GC is our process, and GM is there our measuring device. So if you remember what was the special things we need to understand here, right? So we have 2 type of problem if you remember. One is, again, right, we have a set point based thing, right? So that is, we are having a servo problem and regulatory problem, right? So both in case of servo and regulatory, you should know how to write the equation, right? So y of s by d of s, you should know how to write. Y of s divided by ysp, you should know how to write. So right, both cases you should know. And if they are giving, if it is a unity feedback system, right? Unity feedback system meaning is what? GM will be equal to 1. Right. So already since the PDC is over, right? So we are not explaining it again how to reduce this and all. Right. So you may have done more questions in the test series, etc. Right. So this equations, go through it. So take some diagram and try to write it. Right. So basically the thing is you have to start from this, right? So that is, we will be writing this, right? Y our set point minus y into GM, right? Will be entering it as error into GC. So error will be multiplied with GC. Then it will be multiplied by GF, then it will be multiplied by GP, plus D into GD will be equal to Y, right? Y of S. So from that basic example, we will be solving question, right? I hope you remember. So whenever, so please mute yourself 1 minute. Right. So whenever we solve questions, right? Whenever we solve questions, writing the basic deduction, right? So that is very much important. So take one simple block diagram and try to write the equation, right? So when we start solving the questions based on offset, right? So when we start solving the question from based on offset, these 2 things will be handy for you. That is your y divided by ysp or y divided by d, right? Disturbance, right? So this type of equations, how we are writing it. So that will be helpful to you. So just go through 1 or 2 questions, so it will be easier for you. Clear? So this is the first part, right? This is the first part. So remember the unity feedback. Sometimes they will not give you the block diagram. They will directly give you it as a unity feedback, right? So you have to understand that and you should solve accordingly, right? So these things you need to take care, right? Next. So after this particular part, right? So this particular part is very easy. I'm not doing any problem in that. Right. So we'll solve some problems based on offset, right? So then we will have it again, it will be revised. So in controllers, right? So in controllers, what was the meaning? Right. So controller is basically like this, right? So this is your GC, that is controller. Something is coming and something is going out. So the input is the error, and this is the output of the controller. Right? Input is the error and output is the controller. Now, output of the controller is fixed, right? So that already I have explained in the class. That is your output of the controller or output of your valve is what? Either fully open or fully closed, right? That is 100% open to 100% closed. This is the only thing you have as a controller, right? So now we are interested in what? We are interested in finding what can be this GC. What are the types you have? You have P controller, PI controller, PID controller. Right? So go through the equations and understand the difference between P, PI, and PID. Right? So in P, you are having what? An offset. Right? P, the meaning is what? We are not able to eliminate the complete error. Right? So there will be some small part of error always will be there with the system if you use a P controller. Right? So that's what we have discussed. If you remember, we have written a lot in P, PI, PID, etc. So just go through the books also. Right. So remember the transfer function. That's all. Right. So whenever when you want to solve the problems, only transfer function is important for us. If it is a P controller, right, our GC is equal to what? KC for a P controller. Right. GC is equal to KC. That is our transfer function of P controller is this. Or we can say the output C of S is equal to KC into E of S. Right. Our error. Right. So since we are saying, right, since we are saying this output of the controller is fixed, that is either we can open the valve or close the valve, we are having what? 0% open to 100% open. That is the maximum limit we have. So when you fix KC, right, when you fix this value of KC, the range of this error signal is called what? Our proportional band. Right. Range of this error signal is called proportional band. That is our maximum range of this is what? 0 to 100. Or 100 to 0, right? 100% open to 0% open, right? If your KC value is fixed, your proportional band, that is the range of error, is normally written as what? 100 divided by KC. This equation you might have seen in your book, right? So the range of that error signal is written as 100 divided by KC. How are we getting this equation? Because we know the output is from 100 to 0. Right, output of the valve is maximum 100% closed or 100% open to 0. Right, so that's why we are taking this equation. Clear? So based on this, we will be having some problems, right? So remember that as well. Go through the book Stephanopoulos whenever you get free time. In the theory part, not for problem, right? So problem from GATE 2000 to 20, whatever problems you have done, that is enough for problem. For theory, go through Stephanopoulos whenever you get free time. Right, that is just read, no need to read the initial part, go for the stability part or where we start feedback control system, start to read from that. Right. So that is the important part. Now, so once again, we told, so if you want to read something, we just go through the note, whatever we have written in the class. So let me check that 1 minute. So if you see what are the things we have written here, I will read it because it is my handwriting. Okay. Controller is attached to wall, right? So that is controller. What I have written, I don't know. Right. So the controller always lies between, right? So a decision of a controller always lies between fully open to fully closed. These things we have already written. If KC is defined, then value of range of error signal can be defined. Clear? So that we have just discussed. So the range of error signal required to move the valve from fully closed to fully open condition. That is your proportional band, right? Fully open to fully closed condition. Now, air to open valve is there, right? So that we have already discussed in the class, air to open, air to close. If you want, we can, once again, we will explain, right? Air to open, air to close. So your air to open valve is also known as fail close. right? So the meaning is when we increase the air pressure or the air signal is increasing, valve will start to open, right? Valve will start to open. If there is no air signal, right? If there is no air signal, this valve will be closed, right? If there is no air signal, this valve will be closed. So this is your air to open valve, right? So the opposite will be air to close or fail open valve, right? So those things you can study from the book as well, right? So these things we have already discussed, right? And there should be some minimum signal criteria also we have already told, right? So there should be some difference that also we have discussed, and we have discussed some problems as well. And if you remember, air to close valve, right? So we have taken this criteria, that is air to close valve, that is when air pressure is increasing, right? When air pressure is increasing, your stem is going down, right? That is, if this is your stem, if the air pressure is increasing, right, the stem is going down. So the downward motion of the stem we have taken as the positive direction. So we will call air to close is your direct acting valve, if you remember. Right, so based regarding direct acting, indirect acting, in detail we can discuss in the next revision, right? But still, right, so this thing we have discussed. Now air pressure increases in air to close valve means the air will be passing from the bottom of the diaphragm, right? So it will be coming in the opposite direction of the diaphragm. So your stem will be moving upward, right? Your stem will be moving upward. So the stem movement is in the negative direction. So we will call this as indirect acting. So this is the basic criteria we have taken, right? So we have different criteria for this particular direct, indirect, but this assumption is holds good for solving our problem, right? So that's why we are using this, right? So that's the meaning. Now, once this is done, right? So you are having what? Then you have a P controller. So once again, we already told P controller does not eliminate the offset completely, right? P controller does not eliminate the offset completely. That is, there will be always a small error that we have explained several times in the class why it happens. Because when your equation is what? C of S is equal to AC into E of S. This is the equation for your P controller. When the error becomes very, very small, what happens is, right, what happens when the error becomes very, very small? Your controller will not move because the error is very, very small. Right? Since the error is very, very small, your controller will not react. Right? So that small error will persist in the system. It will not change anything in the valve opening or valve close. Right? So you cannot do what? You cannot avoid the situation by increasing Kc. What will happen if you increase Kc? If you increase Kc for small error also, the valve will react and it will take care of everything. But the problem will be what? We have to fix a particular Kc. We cannot always increase Kc and solve the problem. Clear? So what we will do is, instead of this, to avoid this, we are adding what? In the P action, we are adding an integral action. What is the meaning of integral action? Integral action means whatever small error is there, it is stored inside the system, right? Inside our controller. And by accumulating that error, the I action is working, right? So I action works on the previously stored errors, right? So because of that action, what happens? The offset will get generated, right? The offset will get generated, but what will be the problem of PI? There will be oscillation, right? There will be oscillation. Why? The reason, I hope you remember why we have told why there is an oscillation, because once the I action reacts, right, already the system will be corrected and there will be no error. But next time when the system runs again, what will happen? We have some stored error in the I controller. So that will react according to that error again, right? Because your I action is working based on past errors or stored errors, right? So because of this, even though the error becomes zero, the next time this system will again react with the stored errors. So again, the error will be created by the I action, right? Even though the error is zero, next time when the system is running again, the I action will create an extra error. So you will have what? You will have oscillation, right? So this is the problem with I action, right? So PI action, we will be having oscillation, and this will make the system more sluggish, right? So to avoid this, right, so to decrease this number of oscillation, we are adding what? Again, one more thing, that is derivative, that is PIT. right? So this is the problem. So for P, PI, PID, you have to remember what? You have to remember all the equations. That is, what is GC for P, PI, PID. So for example, if you remember this, 1 plus 1 by tau I into S plus tau D into S. This is your case for PID, right? So response time for PID is faster compared to P and PI, but this is the transfer function for PID. So PI, you know, only first two will come. P, you should know, right? So these things. So once you're okay with the equation, go through the Stephanopoulos once again, right? So then you will get a better idea, right? So what is happening? So now, if you see the Stephanopoulos, according to the Kc value, according to the tau I value, according to the tau D value, what happens with the what happens with the system's response, that is given in different diagram, right? Even though we may not require that in GATE, if you go through that, just try to write it, or try to remember it. Sometimes it may help, right? So it depends on what, right? How much you read Stephanopoulos based on that, your rank, right? It is your chance. That is, PDC is normally regarded as a scoring subject, 8 marks. Right. So normally people will get, if you see the last year question paper also, 8 marks is easily scored. Right. Even though we have to solve a lot, if you see last year and all, we had to do the quadratic equation and these kind of lengthy questions were there. But if you spend some time, you may get 8 marks. Right. So most of the time problems, you may get full mark. To get some theory points, so go through the Stephanopoulos book. Right. So once you complete everything, you know all the equations now. Right, you know how to solve the questions as well. You know how to find offset. You know how to find everything is there, right? So try to write it. That is, whenever you read something, right? That is, whenever you prepare something or whenever you are free, just write offset. How to calculate offset, right? What was the condition for route array? So you should not have any confusion. That is, okay, this is the method. If this happens, this we should do, right? So phase margin. How to find the phase margin? How to find the gain margin? Right? How to find ultimate gain, how to find PU. Clear? So these things, if you may be preparing sometimes heat transfer, right? In between, take some 5 minutes gap and try to write the route test, right? What is happening? How many number of arrays should be there for route test if the order is this much? Clear? So in between, you should jump and see, right? Whether you're able to remember these things. Clear? So whenever you get free time, right? So just read something, because it is not like your CRE 11 skill where we cannot guarantee that 12, 13 marks of CRE will be from 11 skill, or you will get complete 13 marks if you read every part of 11 skill. No, it is very difficult for preparing every 11 skill part. But PDC, Stephanopoulos, almost 8 mark is always guaranteed. Clear? Because most of the time, right? So most of the time, this part, eight mark questions will be very easy, right? So if you see the last year, right? They have started adding one extra theory question so that students should not get 8 out of 8. That's why this time they have added what? Extra the topics, because the stock of the questions is going down, right? So they cannot make the question paper that much tough. Clear? So they have added one of like that symbols, right? So that they have added. Right, P and ID symbols. So these things they have added because they have more liberty now. That is, they can play with these marks. That is 6 marks, maybe easy, 2 marks, they can add some new thing. Clear? So whatever they have added is only theory part. Right. So once you go through that particular P and ID symbols, that also you can get. Clear? So reading Stephanopoulos is important. Now we will start with offset now. Right. So offset calculation. It's very simple. If you remember the equation, offset is equal to, we can say, YSP infinity minus Y of infinity. This is equal to your offset. Right. So servo problem, regulatory problem, right? So when there is no change in disturbance, right? So when there is no change in disturbance, this value will be 0. Sorry, there is, if it is a disturbance-based question, this set point change will be 0. Right. So these things you should understand. Take some questions and solve. How to find this Y infinity? Right. So for that, we will be using the final value theorem. Right. So these things you should understand, and you should solve some questions. Right. So 1 or 2 questions, that will be enough. Right. So clear, we will take some examples for offset just to remind what is happening in that particular type of question. So if you see 1 minute, this also we have written the class. For level controller, mostly we will be using P controller. Why? Because in case of level, small error is acceptable. Right? In case of level, the small error is acceptable. And in case of flow, some part of oscillation is also acceptable. That's why for a flow, we are using PI. And temperature and pressure, we will be using PID controller. So because we are not interested of oscillation and we cannot accept small errors, right, in temperature control and pressure control. Right. So only disadvantage of P action is what? Non-zero steady state error. That also we have discussed. Right. And we have studied two exceptions. Right. We have studied two exceptions. That is, even though when we use PI controller, right, so sometimes you can get offset. If you remember that two exception, that is when your measurement value is not equal to that set point. Right. If you remember that graph, you will understand it. I hope you remember. We have discussed two special cases in the class where when we use P controller also, right, if it was a constant displacement pump case, if you remember, right, that is your pure integrator, pure capacitive system. So in that case, your offset was non-zero, if you remember, right? Same way, you have one or two exceptions are there. So go through that as well. So this is given in your Stephanopoulos, right? So this is from your Stephanopoulos. Yes, Rishi, correct. So servo only, right? So that's first thing. Offset is non-zero. Clear? So this is the case. The block diagram for this particular part is given in question number 63. And then they are asking what? I think they are asking offset. I don't know. Let me check. Yes, they are asking steady state gain actually here, right? So steady state gain, we will come back next. So first, we will solve one offset question. Let me check where is that question. Okay, here you can see offset part, right? So offset, so for the unit step change in the set point and set in load, right? You can see the difference in the offset diagram, right? So if there is a change in unit step change in set point, so your diagram is this. That is your difference between one. One is the unit step change, right? One is your unit step change. That is right. So that is your servo problem, right? So in that servo problem, you can see your offset diagram is like this, the first diagram, right? So this is your first diagram. So next is for regulatory problem. That is when we have a change in the load, you can see this is not changing, right? So this one is what? There is nothing is there for one because your set point is here itself, right? So your left-hand side of offset is 0 minus, you need to find what? Y of infinity. This will be equal to offset. Clear? So these diagrams are very well given in what? Very well given in your Stephanopoulos book. So go through that. So sometimes with this diagram, they will be asking, right? So which one is servo problem? Which one is regulatory problem? So you should understand this from this diagram as well. Clear? So this is the meaning. We'll go to this after that. 1 minute. So I'm checking the question for offset. Right. So whichever question you feel you can do it, no problem. Just a minute. Let me check the question. I hope you might have solved these questions as well. So I will just, for explanation, right? So I will take one question. Right. So this question, so simple question. We will take some simple question for explanation bus. Right. So you can see block diagram of a control system is given. Right. So KC is given, the process is given, and they are saying unit step change of set point. Find the steady state offset. So first of all, what is the equation for offset? You know the offset equation, that is YSP infinity. That is what is the change in the set point. Change in the set point is unit step change. So 1 minus y of infinity. Now the question is only to find y of infinity. So how can you find the ultimate value of the response? Right? How can you find the ultimate value of the response? Since they are giving you, there is a change in set point, you should write what? Y of s divided by R of s. You need to write the transfer function of y of s by R of s. So after finding y of s by R of s is what? It is 1 by s, because it is the unit step change in set point. So first find that, right? So once you get that particular value, you can easily find it, right? So once again, right? So unit step change, this is 1, right? Minus this y of infinity, you need to find, that is the only question. So y of s by R of s, you need to write, that will be forward part divided by 1 plus open loop. Once you get this, multiply by R of s here. So you will get y of s is equal to unit step change means y of s. Clear? Multiplied by this, you will be getting. Once you get this, how to find y infinity? So s into y of s, right? Put s tends to 0. So s will be multiplied, s will be cancelled if you substitute. In this question, I hope you will be getting 4 by 5. Right. So once you get this value, 1 minus this, you will get the answer. If they were giving you, right? If they were giving you, right? For example, the same question, they were asking for disturbance. Right, unit step change in the disturbance. What will be the change here? Very simple. The only change will be, instead of YSP infinity, here it will become 0. Instead of 1, it will be 0, because there is a change in the disturbance, not in your set point. So that is done. Now, next part, instead of here, you will be writing what? D of s, then we will multiply it by 1 by s. Same procedure, you will get y infinity, you will get the answer. Your answer here will be minus 4 by 5. Clear? So this will be the case, right? So this will be the case. So this will be your case, a case of offset. I hope you understood, right? So these things we have to solve and we need to find. So this is the first type of question in offset. If you see the question paper, we have several questions, right? So go through all the questions and try to solve it, right? Once again, so it will be very, very easy. Now, based on the same case of offset, you have some other questions, right? Some other terms. That is, for example, if you see some question, just now I shared one question. In that question, they were asking steady state gain. Right. So steady state error means that is offset. Okay. Right. If steady state error means that is offset, that is okay. But steady state gain means it is not the offset. Right. It is not the offset. It is the steady state output when you have a unit step input. Right. So when you have a unit step change, this is, we need to find what? Y of infinity when you have a unit step input. So the same procedure, only difference is what? Whatever question they have given, you need to find the value of y of s, right? Sy of s, and put s tends to 0. You will get the answer, right? You will get the answer. Whatever answer you're getting, that will be your steady state gain. Clear? So that part will be your steady state gain. This is the same type of question, right? So same type of question, same type of offset question, but they can ask in terms of what? Different terminology. That is, instead of asking directly offset, they may be asking this. Right. For example, if you see this same question here, right? Steady state gain of the closed loop system between y of s and r of s. Clear? So first we need to write what? We need to write y of s divided by r of s. Then y of s will be calculated by multiplying r of s. Right. So if you want to see the diagram, right? So if you want to see the diagram for this question, you can see this is the diagram. So how to calculate y of s by r of s? You know how to calculate, right? It's very simple. That is 0.2 into y. You can find it, right? So it will be very easy to find it. Sir, is offset always calculated for step change? So normally it is step change. If they give some extra magnitude, that magnitude should be substituted, right? I hope you understood, right? That is, here they have given what? A step change of magnitude 1. Right? If they give step change of magnitude 2, means you have to use 2. Right? So that is the only change. So whatever step change is given, you have to use. Normally, it is offset is calculated basically on step change only. right? Completed. Now, so steady state gain is done. So if you see one more question, right? One more question. If you see, I don't have that photo. If you have the book, if you see 2020, right? GATE 2020, question number 115, right? GATE 2020, question number 115. It's the same offset question, right? Same question. But what is the question you can read? They have given a block diagram and they are saying for a unit step change in the set point, change in the value of the response at steady state, right? Change in the value of the response at steady state is the same thing. What you need to calculate? We need to calculate same y of infinity, right? Same thing you need to calculate the y of infinity that is at steady state, unit step change in the set point. So obviously what should be the step? Y divided by YSP you need to find, right? Y divided by YSP, introduce YSP as 1 by S, then find the y of infinity. Same thing. So they can ask you in 3 different methods, right? So all the 3 types of questions they have asked in offset is covered now. Clear? I hope you understood. The first type was directly offset. They can ask you directly offset, right? So they can ask you directly offset. Otherwise, what they can do, right? So otherwise, what they can do, they can use like steady state gain, right? So that kind of steady state gain question they can ask, right? So this is also done. Now, control wall characteristics. So question number 23, right? So that we will discuss when we discuss control wall. Okay, no problem. Now, if you remember that, right? If you those who are asking question number 23 in this 1 minute, right? So question number 23, control wall characteristics is selected such that product of process gain, wall gain, the remains constant as the value of the manipulated variable changes. That is the answer, I guess. Because if you see GF, right? So if you see GF is your control wall, this thing, I hope if you remember the logically, GF is your wall characteristics. That is final control element, right? So we normally keep what? Normally keep this value equal to 1. Why? Because we will take this value as a constant, right? So normally we will keep this value as a constant. We don't want something like a process equation or first order equation here, right? So we will generally consider this value as a constant, right? That is GC is connected with GF, then it is connected with GP like this. So if you read the control wall characteristics, I hope you remember we have discussed these equations, KV divided by tau S plus 1. This will be the final control element transfer function. We have discussed this. Then we told this will approximately, we will equate it as KV only. That is, so that wall will have what? A constant value. Wall characteristics will have a constant value so that it will be easy for us to analyze. Clear? So that we will discuss again in detail when we discuss control wall tomorrow, right? So let us complete today's topic, right? So then we will discuss that. Now, next part, right? So these are the questions they can ask from what? Your offset, right? These are the questions they can ask from your offset. So once the offset is done, right? So already I've told what is steady state gain, how to calculate it. Now, next is your stability part, right? Stability. If you see stability, one minute. Right, so let us check. So what are the things we have discussed so far, right? So this is done. This is route array. That's my class notes. This one already we have discussed, right? So this is general diagram, right? So this is the offset diagram in your Stephanopoulos, right? So this is the diagram which shows what? Your stability case, right? So first diagram, you can see it is a stable system diagram, right? Stable system response, that is your oscillations are coming to a constant value, right? But in the second diagram, it shows your unstable system, that is you can see it is going like this, or it is increasing, right? So these are the examples for what? Unstable system and stable system, right? So from the diagrams itself, they can ask, right? So stable system, unstable system. So this is given in your Stephanopoulos. Clear? So once again, now PI, PID, right? So this graph is also given in your Stephanopoulos, that is analysis and design of feedback control system, right? It's a very good book, right? So if you read it once you have completed the revision, right? So you will get so many things, right? So T controller, you can see there is an offset, right? T controller, you can see there is an offset, right? There is an offset. PI controller, offset is not there, but there are more oscillation. PID controller, right? PID controller oscillations are less. It is reaching the ultimate value very fast, right? So these things are there in your book as well. And if you see this, right, first term shows the effect on output of a change in the set point, where second is in the load. That is your servo problem and regulatory problem. So how are you going to write it, right? How are you going to write it? So that equations are given, right? G load is there, GSP is there, how they are going to write. So this is given, right? For every feedback control system, we can distinguish two types of control problems. That is servo and regulatory problem, right? Already completed that. Clear? So this is given in your Stephanopoulos. Now, types of feedback controllers, right? So types of feedback controllers. So in this, you can see the definition of proportional controller, right? That is proportional band is also there. Now, concept of feedback controller. Just now we have discussed that same thing. They have given it in diagram, so you can see the measuring device. So if it is a unity feedback, remember your measuring device transfer function will be equal to 1, right? GM will be equal to 1. That also you should remember. So this question, we will come back to this question. Clear? So stability, right? So when we start stability, the first part we are going to discuss is the route array, right? So what are the steps to find route array? First thing is 1 plus G open loop is equal to 0, right? So the characteristic equation we are going to write 1 plus G open loop is equal to 0, right? So we have minimum 3-4 rules are there, right? Some students are having still confusion how we are going to find this, right? That's why we'll explain it once again, right? So first thing, if your order of the characteristic equation is 5, you are going to have 6 rows. Clear? You are going to have 6 rows, right? So the 6th row's last element, right? So last element in that 6th row is called what? It is your route element, right? It is your route element, the last element. Clear? So you will be able to write that and you should be able to solve the questions, right? Now, right, so n is the order, means n plus 1 will be the value of your row, right? So s over 5 means, right? So we will be writing like this, right? A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, like this, right? We will be writing. So if you remember, right? So we'll be writing this. Now, if you see the conditions, right? So if you read the conditions for route array, there are different conditions. So all the elements should be positive, right? So then only we will say it is stable. If even one is negative, right? Even one term is negative, we will call it as unstable system. So 1 minute. So I will share that note also. So we have written this, so we can read it so that I don't need to write it. So you can see here, if all the coefficients are of different sign or any coefficient is negative, right? Simply any coefficient is negative, it is an unstable system. There is no need of further analysis, right? There is no need of further analysis. So that's why we are checking always the first term, right? So if always we check the first term, that is A, B, C, D, we will directly check the 5th term, because if that is negative itself, it is an unstable system. Clear? Now, if all coefficients are positive, right? So then we need to find B1, B2, C1, C2, everything, right? That's okay. Now, if all the elements in the route column are positive, right? Route column, that first column, right? If everything is positive, we will call it a stable system. Clear? Stable system. If any entry in the route column is negative, right? If any entry in the route column is negative or 0, except even, the system is unstable, right? That is, if you're other than your last term, right? Even if any other term is 0, also we can call it as unstable, right? So that's the meaning. And if all elements in the RC is positive and last term, that is your route element, is negative also, it is unstable. Basically, it's a very simple rule, right? Basically, it's very simple rule. Positive, if it is positive, stable, negative, unstable. That's the only point you need to remember, right? So even though they have given a lot of condition. Now, this last 6th condition is the important part. That is, what is the condition of verge of instability, right? If all the element in RC is positive and if the last element is 0, we will call it as what? System will be marginally stable and on the verge of instability. Clear? So this is the first point. Now, if one pair of roots on the imaginary axis, right? So we have two roots, that is on the imaginary axis means what? Complex conjugate, right? So if that kind of pair is there, right? And other roots are in the left-hand plane. That is, if you are having s power 3, for example, if your order is 3, so you will have what? 3 roots, right? So according to this, so the E1 Routh element, yes, the last element, right? E1 is your Routh element, right? So if one pair of roots on the imaginary axis and all the other roots are in left-hand plane, that is one pair is in the imaginary axis. Here one, and other root, that is you are having total what? Three roots are there. 1, 2. This is 1. This is 2. And the third, if it is in left-hand side, then all the elements of nth array will vanish. Nth array meaning is if you are having 4 rows, third number of row, that complete row will be vanished. That is, we will be having 0, 0 values. That we will take a problem and we will understand. That is not a problem. Now, the location of that pair of imaginary roots can be calculated by CS square plus D equal to 0. Right, CS square plus D equal to 0, where C and D are elements of n-1 row. So if it is difficult to remember, we will do some problems, right? So we'll do some problems and we will understand it. So we can see one problem now. 1 minute. I think that problem is there. Yes, this problem, right? So this is the first type of problem, right? This is the first type of problem. You can see what is the order of the equation. Order of the equation is 3, right? So you are going to have what, right? You are going to have 4 rows. So I'm going to draw this on the board. 2, 4, 2, 4, right? 2, 4, 2, 4. This is, it will be like 2s cube plus 4s square plus 2s plus 4, right? So that will be the equation, right? That is, if you remember how to write it, 2s cube plus 4s square plus 2s plus 4. Clear? So this is the equation, right? So you can see here, this is the equation, right? 2s cube plus 4s square plus 2s plus 4. Now, according to them, what they are saying is, this is your first row, this is your second row. How many row will be there? Total 4 rows should be there, right? Why there is 4 row? Because the order is 3. So first of all, 8, 8, this will be 0, 0, right? 0, 0. Now the problem is, right? Now the problem is what? Right? Everything is positive, right? So everything is positive or 0, right? Everything is positive or 0. So here you can see first problem, right? Here you can see first problem. If you see that statement, right? If you see that statement they have written, they are asking, right? So they are asking, what is the question? Let me check the question with the textbook. Yes, select the correct answer from the following choices. That is, 2 rows are given, right? So they are asking the equation has 1 root in the right half plane, or what is happening with the roots, etc. Right? So this is their question, right? So they are asking regarding the roots of this particular equation, right? So what are the roots of this equation? Whether we are having it in right-hand side or left-hand side, this is the question they are asking. So our statement we have written is, if one pair of root is on the imaginary axis and all the other root are in left half plane, that is our theorem says, Routh's law says, if one pair is in imaginary axis and one is in left hand plane, right? One is in left hand plane. So what happens is your elements of nth row will vanish. So you can see this is your n plus 1th row. This is your nth row. So here you can see the elements in the nth row is vanished. There is no term, right? There is no elements in the nth row. So if you want to find a value of roots, right? If you want to find a value of roots, we will use what? We will use n-1th row. Clear? We will be using n-1th row. So how to use that particular n-1th row? That is CS square plus D. That is 4 S square plus D is this term. Equate to 0. So S square is equal to -1. So S will be equal to plus or minus J. So you know this is going to be 1. This is going to be -1. That is, you have 2 roots now. plus or minus j. But other than this plus or minus j, you will have what? One more root. You don't know what is that value. Clear? Plus or minus 1 will be, plus or minus j will be your 2 roots. But since the order is 3, you will have what? One more root. So what you have to do? You have to find it by your maths. That is s square means you have 2 roots. So s minus j into s plus j, divide by this equation, you will get another value for s. That value will come in the left-hand side. That is our theorem says. Clear? So this is the meaning. So this is the way we will be calculating the imaginary roots. Right? So by using this particular case, that is route array. Now, next type of question, right? So this is the first type of question in route array. So we will see the second type of question in route array. You can see this second type of question. The characteristic equation of a closed loop. Right, characteristic equation of a closed loop is given. So only this is enough to understand everything. The characteristic equation of a closed loop using a proportional controller with gain Kc is given. So write the route equation 12, 19, and 8 and 1 plus Kc. So how many row will be there? You will be having 2 more rows. That is 4 row will be there. And they are asking, right? So total 4 row will be there. And they are asking, what is the value of Kc for onset of instability, right? So onset of instability, what is the value of Kc, right? So what they are saying is, right? So what they are saying is, you need to find the value of Kc. Very simple. So first find this term, right? So if it is to be stable, all values should be positive, right? Every value should be positive. So the first term will be what? It will be 12 into 1 plus Kc minus 19 into 8 divided by 19. This is the first term. Second term will be what? This into this divided by this is 0 divided by this term. So it will be what? 1 plus Kc will be the last term. Right? 1 plus Kc will be the last term. Right? So this is very easy to find. Now, clear. Now, this value should be positive, right? So that we will have a stable system, right? We will have a stable system. So how can you find whether it is positive? Greater than 0, put greater than 0 and solve, or put equal to 0 and solve the question. Right? Put this one equal to 0, you will get Kc is equal to what? 35 divided by 3. Clear? Once again, if you want to, 1 plus Kc should be equal to 19 into 8. Right? So that's what we are going to do, right? So that's what we are going to do. So Kc, if it is 35.35 divided by 3, this equation is matched so that this term will be positive. If this is positive, this is a stable system. Right? If this is positive, this is a stable system. Now, if your Kc is greater than 35 by 3, right? If your Kc is greater than 35 by 3, what will happen to the system? Unstable. Clear? If Kc is greater than this, right? So if Kc is greater than this, your system will be unstable. Clear? So this is the point. Right, so your system will be unstable because Kc, if it is greater than 35 by 3, this term will become negative. If this term is negative, your route element is not route element, route column, one term is negative. So this will be what? An unstable system. So Kc cannot be greater than 35 by 3. Right, that is okay. So you got one condition. So that is enough to solve the question. Right, this is enough to solve the question. That is, you know 35 by 3, right? So that is already done. But now, for solving this question, that is okay. Now, if they're asking the range of Kc, how will you find the range of Kc? So here, this term should also be greater than 0, right? Or this term should be at least equal to 0 to avoid the instability. So you have one more condition, that is 1 plus Kc should be equal to 0. So Kc should be equal to minus 1. Now, if you see, if I put here Kc equal to minus 2, what will happen? This term will become negative, right? So this term will become negative. So your range of Kc will come as this. Minus 1 less than Kc less than 35 by 3. Is it okay? That is, if your value of Kc goes less than minus 1, that is, if I put Kc is equal to minus 2, what will happen? Negative. This system is not stable, right? This is an unstable system. Clear? So this becomes an unstable system. So your value of Kc should not go below -1. Right? Same way, your value of Kc should not go above 35.3 as. So if they're asking the range, this is the way we will find. In this question, we just need this one because they're asking only one value, right? Right, onset of instability, right? So 35.3, 35 by 3 is an onset of instability. Clear? So this is the way. So some students have already messaged me asking how to find this range. That's why, right? So route array, route column, you can easily find the range by using this, right? You can find the value. Clear? So based on this, you are having a lot of questions in GATE, right? Based on route array. Clear? So I hope it is done. Right. So next is your body plot. Regarding one doubt, is there 1 minute? Let me check. Zero and span, right? Definitely, I will say, right? Let me complete today's topic, right? So only one more topic is there for today, body plot. So once I finish, we will discuss that, right? No problem. Right. So body plot, right? So regarding body plot, so if you see to draw body plot, the questions are very less, right? Only one question is there. That is very easy question as well, that you can easily draw it. Now, regarding body plot, you need to by heart some equation, but you should be able to solve all the questions at the time of the exam also, right? If you want to derive something, right? So very simple. You are having only two equations, that is two graphs. This is one, right? And second is semi-log graph, right? You have only two things, right? Now you have two forms of the equation to remember. For Paul, x plus iy is one form, r into e power i5 is another, right? So where r is root of x square plus y square, phi is tan inverse of y by x, right? Polar form. So these things, so this form will be helpful when you write the equation of what? When you have the transfer function of transportation lag, this form will be helpful to you, right? So if you have a transportation lag, you can easily understand r will be equal to 1, right? So your amplitude ratio will be 1, and the phi value you can easily calculate from that. Clear? So this is the point. Now, what is the first step for every body plot? What you're going to do is g of s, you are going to convert it into what? G of I omega, right? So once you get this G of I omega, that is whatever G of I omega transfer function, if you're able to write it as x plus iy, you can easily find the amplitude ratio. Amplitude ratio will be root of x square plus y square. Clear? And what will be the value of phi? Phi will be tan inverse of y by x, right? Tan inverse of y by x. So if you know this, you will be able to solve all the questions, right? So, and normally they don't give you one transfer function. They will give what? G of s is equal to G1 of s into G2 of s into, right? You will have a lot of transfer function because you may be writing what? GOLTF, open loop transfer function. So if you have that, you will be writing what? Amplitude ratio is equal to amplitude ratio of 1 into amplitude ratio of 2 into amplitude ratio of 3, multiplication of the amplitude ratio. And you will be adding what? Phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. Right. So this also you should remember. Clear? So remembering all the equations, right? Remembering all the equations of at least the important functions, right? Important transfer function is very much required. For example, let me just share one table with you, right? So that it will be very easy for us to recall all the equations. Let me check 1 minute. So if you don't remember the diagram also, no problem at that time of 1 second. Let me give 1 minute. Okay. If you don't remember the final formula also, right? So, or a diagram of body, different diagrams also, no problem. That diagram shape is not important. This equations is important. For example, this is my short notes. For example, we can see First order, right? So what is the transfer function? Kp divided by tau s plus 1 k, that is amplitude ratio. You should be able to write it, right? So first order is everywhere. Every question you have first order, right? So amplitude ratio you should remember, right? Normally when we do problem, you will remember that, so it's not an issue. So amplitude ratio is equal to, right, Kp divided by root of 1 plus tau square omega square. So every problem we will be doing that, right? So it's not an issue. Now there is a tan inverse, right? Tan inverse of minus tau omega. Now remember, you need to remember the equation tan inverse A plus tan inverse B, right? That also you should remember. Now second is what? Pure capacitive system, Kp by S. So you can see the amplitude ratio, you know that a phi value minus pi by 2. Pure dead time system. So just now we told dead time, we are using what? Polar form. So R will be equal to 1. So the amplitude ratio will be 1. Right, and phi you can calculate. Now remember, whenever you have, right, whenever you have a pure dead time process combined in your equation, right, what is the difference here? Here the omega is in radian, right? Your omega is in radian, so you have to multiply by 180 divided by pi, right? That is almost 57 point something you have to multiply, right? Then only you will be able to equate the equation, total equation. And second order system, if you don't remember also, it's not an issue, right? Second order system, right? And 1 minute. Clear? So P controller, you should remember. PI controller, you should remember. PD controller, you should remember. PID also remember. But this much is enough, right? Normally this much is enough, right? Normally they have asked maximum P and PI only, right? PI also they haven't asked much. Right. So remembering these equations, these tables is very much important for the solving, right? For solving this question. Now, we will start with the Bode criteria, right? So when you see the Bode criteria, so always remember the graph, right? So if you remember the graph, it is very easy to solve also, right? That is like this simple graph. So mark first minus 180 here, right? Minus 180 will be marked always. And this minus 180, here, this will be your phase crossover frequency. This phase crossover frequency is touching here, right? So this is your amplitude ratio at phase crossover frequency, right? If your amplitude ratio at phase crossover frequency, right? If your amplitude ratio at phase crossover frequency is below this amplitude ratio equal to 1, then we will call this as what? This is your stable system, right? This is your stable system. So this distance will be what? That will be your gain margin, right? So that distance will be your gain margin. So that also you will be able to find it. Now, second case, this amplitude ratio equal to 1, we will draw it here. Clear? So this term will be your phi, right? This term will be your phi. If this is coming in between minus 180, right? So if it is less than this, it is a stable system. This difference will be your phase margin. Right, this difference will be your phase margin. So what is the equation for gain margin? Gain margin equation is 1 divided by amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. Clear? Same way, phase margin is equal to 180 minus modulus of this phi. Right, so these two things you need to remember, right? This graph you need to remember. Right, so what is corner frequency? Corner frequency is used when we draw that diagram. Right. If you remember first order diagram or second order diagram, whenever you draw the Bode plot, we are using corner frequency. Right. If you remember that, if you go back to the in Bode stability criteria, corner frequency has no effect. Right. In Bode stability criteria, the corner frequency has no effect, but we will be finding corner frequency by dividing by time constant. I guess I remember like this. Right. So if you draw the graph, if you have graph like this connecting point is your corner frequency, right? So when the graph is changing its shape, if it is a PD controller, PI, PID, like that, we have drawn a lot of diagrams, right? So whenever you draw Bode diagrams, right, we will be using corner frequency, right? If needed, we will come to that. So first, let me finish this, right? So after that, we will come, right? So this is your stability criteria. Right. So all questions in GATE is based on what? Your stability criteria. So how to find it? Right. First step is what? You need to write minus 180 is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3, whatever extra is there. You need to write it. right? Minus 180 is equal to something. Now, what will be the second step, right? So once you write this phi will be a function of what? Your crossover frequency. Which crossover frequency? Phase crossover frequency. So the first step is to find the crossover frequency. Clear? The first step is always to find the crossover frequency in your Bode stability criteria or anything, right? So once that step is over, right? Once that WCO value is calculated, right? So once this value is calculated, second step will be what? We need to find the amplitude ratio equation. Amplitude ratio equation, AR1, AR2, multiplication. In this substitute, omega CO, that is whatever value you are getting, this you need to calculate. Then you can find whatever they are asking, right? If you know this amplitude ratio, you can calculate anything. Clear? So we'll take some problems and explain before that, right? Before that, the second case is what? Second type of calculation, if you remember. First, if you want to find phase margin, right? If they are asking phase margin, how we will be calculating phase margin? First, we will write amplitude ratio equation, AR1, AR2. Then we will substitute amplitude ratio equal to 1 and find omega phase crossover frequency. Right? We will find omega phase crossover frequency. And by using this phase crossover frequency, we will find the value of what? Phi dash. Then 180 minus this phi dash will be your phase margin. Right, this will be your phase margin, I'm saying, right? Phase margin, that is, okay, that is you, whatever you're saying is correct. WCO gain, correct. Right, so whatever value of crossover frequency you are getting for amplitude ratio equal to 1, that is your gain crossover frequency, correct? Right, so this value you will substitute here and you will find the value of phase margin. They have asked direct questions based on what? Phase margin also. Clear? We will see that as well. Right, so this is the way these are the two things we need to remember, right? When we do Bode criteria, and you have what? You have equations to find the ultimate gain, right? That is 1 by amplitude ratio crossover frequency. We will come back to that if you have doubt, right? When we do problem, and you have ultimate period is equal to 2 pi divided by omega CO, right? And you have Ziegler-Nichols settings is there. So according to that value, you should be able to find it. So based on this, you have gate problems, right? So based on this, you have gate problems. So we will see some questions now. So with 1 or 2 questions, we will be explaining everything, right? So you can see here, this part is done, this part is done. Offset. Yes, this is the first type of question, right? So I just wanted to mention that is find the ultimate gain. This question includes almost everything, right? This question includes almost everything. So we can read this question and we will explain every doubt, right? So we'll be explaining almost all doubts. Now, I will read the question. They are asking, find the ultimate gain and frequency for a controller in case of a process having the following transfer function. So if you see, you are having a transfer function, which is a combination of 3 first order systems, right? It is a combination of 3 first order systems, 1 by 4s plus 1, 1 by 2s plus 1, and 1 by s plus 1. So there is 3 transfer functions, 3 first order transfer functions. And they're asking what is the ultimate gain, right? Now, if you see this, they have given transfer function of the process. They have not given you open loop transfer function, right? That is the first thing you need to understand. They haven't given you the open loop transfer function. They have given you what? They have given you only the process transfer function, right? So whenever they are giving you process transfer function, right, you have to understand it is just the process is given, not controller is not there, right? So if they have given, you can see the ultimate gain and frequency of a proportional controller in the case of process. So your open loop transfer function will be what? Right, your open loop transfer function will be, right, your open loop transfer function will be what? GOLTF will be KC multiplied by process, right? We should multiply by KC. Right, so that will become what? That will be your open loop transfer function. Now, what they're asking first question is, what is the crossover frequency, right? What is the crossover frequency? That is the first question. So how to find it? Minus 180 equal to, you have 3 first order system. For proportional controller, there is no phase, right? Phase angle is not there. So it will be what? It is now a combination of tan inverse of minus 4 omega plus tan inverse of minus 2 omega plus tan inverse of minus omega. This you know. Now, for finding omega, you need the equations. That is tan inverse A plus tan inverse B. That equation should be needed. Otherwise, easiest option. There will be option given in the question, means substitute the value of omega and check which value of omega you are able to satisfy this equation. Right? Since we have solved this question in the class, we know what is the value of omega. Right? We know what is the value of omega. For example, let me check that answer. So your answer for that omega you will be getting root of 7 by 8, I guess. Right. So whatever, right? Root of 7 by 8 is your omega value. So when you solve this, you will get this answer. So this is your first question, right? Crossover frequency, right? This is our first question, crossover frequency. Now is the problem. They are asking ultimate gain, right? So the equation we have studied for ultimate gain is what? 1 divided by amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. And we have to remember one more definition, that is your Kc becomes Ku when we substitute amplitude ratio equal to 1. Right. So our Kc will become ultimate gain when we substitute amplitude ratio equal to 1. This is also one more definition we have. Now, when will we use these two? That is a question. Right. So we will see how to find it. So if you want to find it, anyway, you need to find what? Amplitude ratio. So amplitude ratio is what? Your amplitude ratio is, for this particular question, your amplitude ratio will be Kc divided by, you have to multiply what? 1 plus tau square omega square root. You have to do this. When you do this, you will get what? Amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. This value will be 45 divided by 4. Right. When we do this problem, you will be getting this answer. Amplitude ratio at crossover frequency will be equal to Kc divided by 45.4. Now let us check. Right. Now let us check what is the value of Ku. Right. Now let us check what is the value of Ku. So value of Ku will be equal to, right, value of Ku will be equal to what? 1 divided by amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. So this is your amplitude ratio at crossover frequency, right? Right. This is your amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. So both cases, right, both cases you will be getting the same answer. That is, 1 minute. Right. In first case, if I am saying when I put amplitude ratio at crossover frequency is equal to 1, this Kc will become what? Ku. Right. So then your Ku will be equal to what? 45.4. 45 divided by 4. Answer is correct. Now second case. Right. Second case. If you are not writing this for OLTF, if you are writing for only process, you wouldn't have written the Kc. If you didn't write the Kc, means your amplitude ratio will be like this. Then if you substitute Ku is equal to this, you will be getting what? 45.4. 45 by 4. Right. Both cases you will be getting the same answer. So any method you can use, right? Depends on you. Right. So both cases, both equations are valid. Right? Both equations are valid. You can use any case. You will be getting, every time you will be getting the same answer. Clear? So you should not be having any confusion. Right? So this is the meaning. Now, right. So this question, next question. Right. Next question, you can see the same type of question. The first order equation is given 5 divided by 2s plus 1 plus power 4. First question itself is crossover frequency of the process. Right. What is the crossover frequency of the process? It's very simple. You are having what? 4 things in series. Right. You are having 4 things in series. That is 4 first order processor are there in series. Right. 4 first order processor are there in series. So it will be very easy to find the corner frequency. Right, minus 180, right, minus 180 is equal to tan inverse of 4 terms, right, 4 into tan inverse of this thing you need to find. So you will get the answer. Right. So this is the first case. Right. So this is the first case you are going to solve. Right. Now the second case is what? They are asking for the computation of Ziegler-Nichols settings, ultimate period and ultimate gain. What is the equation for ultimate period? You have the equation that is 2 pi divided by crossover frequency. That is there. You can find it. You will get 4 pi. Ultimate gain, the same method. Right. Ultimate gain, the same method. Here you can see there is no KC is there. Right. There is no KC is there. So simply 1 by amplitude ratio at crossover frequency. You will get the answer. Right. So you will be getting these answers as well. Clear? So these kind of questions also you need to solve. Right. So all questions are there, right? So try to solve it. Right. So definitely you will be getting the answers. Right. So this is about what? Your Bordes calculation. Clear? So before this, 1, 2, 3. So this question was there, I guess 1, 1, 2 is the question number. This question was directly, they were asking by giving this, they were asking, determine the phase margin, right? So phase margin means you have to first find the gain crossover frequency, right? So you need to find the gain crossover frequency. So these questions will be there, right? So these kind of questions. So that also you need to solve. So some question numbers are coming in. So definitely we will solve, right? So let me finish this first. Right. So this is about your Bordes plot. Clear? Now, so go through all the these particular things. Then we will go for the next. Bordes stability criteria is done. So let me check one more question. What are the questions left? This one, this type is done, this type is done, and this was the last type, right? So 1 minute. Let me go. Okay, sorry. So the total revision is over. So we will solve only whatever doubt questions is there. That is up to Bode plot. Tomorrow we'll be continuing the remaining part, right? So because I believe like not more than 1.5 hours should be there for revision, right? So daily, because you have very less time, so prepare the other subjects as well, right? So tomorrow, by tomorrow's class, we will finish the revision. So now, those who are okay with all the other topics, you can leave. The others, you can listen here. Those who are having the doubt questions, right? So let me write the doubt question first so that I can take a photo. 1853 and 62. And one more question based on zero and span, right? Zero and span. So since he asked first, zero and span. Right. So zero and span. So we have a question as well. So let me take the photos of this question. Just wait for 1 minute, okay? So the first question is based on zero and span. So let me just show that question. 1 minute. Oh, not this one. So this is the question based on zero and span, right? So flow measuring instrument with different specification, right? So zero and span. So what is the meaning of zero is, it is the starting value of a measuring instrument, right? For example, if you take a meter scale, right? So meter scale, we can say the span is 0 to 100 centimeter is the span, right? 0 to 100 centimeter is the area we can measure, right? By using 1 meter scale. Right, or 1 centimeter scale, the span will be what? 15 centimeter. That is our small scale. We can measure what? How up to 15 centimeters. So that is the span. So 0 to span, right? So 0 is starting 0, right? So whichever value is the starting value of that instrument, right? So you can see here in the options given, right? First case, the 0 is 175 means that instrument will be able to start the measuring from 175, right? And span is 150 means 175 plus 150 is 325. So this is the range of that instrument. Are you able to follow? 175 is the 0. So span means 150. So 175 plus 150, 325 is the range. So from 175 liter to 325 liter, the first instrument will be able to measure, right? So what about the second instrument? It is starting from 375. So we can say the starting of that instrument is 375. So span is 100. So what will be the range of that particular instrument? 375 to 475, right? The span of that instrument will be 375 to 475. Same way, third one, 0 will be 275. So what will be the range? 275 to 275 plus 150, so 425, right? So which equipment can be used to measure the measurements from 300 to 400? Which option? C, right? Option C, that is, we need to measure 300 liter to 400 liter. If you use option A, we cannot measure it because it starts from 175 to 325 only. You cannot measure 400 liter with your first option, right? You cannot measure 300 liter by using option B, right? So obviously, which option will be correct? Option C, right? So I hope almost everyone got understood this, right? 0 and span, right? 0 will be the starting value, span will be that particular range, right? So up to what value we can measure, right? So that will be our span. So try to understand that, right? So 0 plus span will give you the range of that measuring instrument, right? 0 plus span will give you the range of that equipment. I hope everybody is getting right. So go through that particular part. So 52 and 53 is the next question, right? So I hope all of you have the book. So just go through 52 and 53. So those are having doubt, we will solve that also. 52, 53. I hope the 0 and span is okay. So 52, 53, let me check whether I have the question. Right, so everybody try to solve it. Right, so I will also try to solve. Right, so then we will see what are the things we need to do. So first thing, crossover frequency associated with. So I will show the question for the first 2-3 minutes. Right, so try to solve it, everyone. So then we will solve in the board. Right, so the crossover frequency associated with a feedback loop employing a proportional controller is represented by a transfer function. So the process is given here, right? So the process is given 2 into e power minus s, that process is given. Now, and the crossover frequency is given, right? The crossover frequency is given, and assume that measurement and transfer functions are unity. Okay, and the first question is 52 question, determine the time constant, right? So determine the time constant tau. So question number 52. So first will be obviously, right? So you can find the value of phi, right? What is crossover frequency is given. So what is the equation? We can write the equation 2 e power minus s, right? It is minus s. Yes. Tau s plus 1 whole square. Right. So they haven't given the value of tau. Let me remind you. If the tau is given, the question will be easy, right? So they are asking tau. Okay. Right. So that's the first case. Now, first of all, what is the value of phi? Right. Omega is given. Omega crossover phase is given. Right. 0.6 or something. Now, minus 180 is equal to. What is the first function you have? The first function you have is first order system. What is the equation for first order system? Tan inverse. Since there is 2 is there, so 2 tan inverse minus tau into omega is 0.6. Clear? This is the first step. Minus 180 is equal to 2 tan inverse of this one. And second step is what? What is your phase angle for dead time? It is, I guess it is minus tau d into omega. Here tau d is not there, so minus 57.3 into omega is what? 0.6. Clear? Any doubt? So minus 1 into 0.6, that is minus 57.3. Why are we adding minus 57.3? Because you need to convert degree in radian into degree, because 0.6 was in radian. So converting into degree, you will get this. So now find the value of tau. Clear? You will get the answer. 5.39 something. I'm not solving it. Okay. So this is the method, right? So this is the method. I hope you're okay with the first method. Right. 5.38. Clear? So the steps is very simple. Right. So here tau is not given. So write the phase value and this value is given. So you can solve it. So if you see 53, next question as well, right? If you see 53 as well, let me check question number 53. If the control loop is to operate at a gain margin of 2, right? If they are asking to find the gain margin of 2, they are asking how to, the gain of the proportional controller must be equal to, they are asking what is the value of Kc, right? What is the value of Kc? That is the question. I hope this question is okay, right? Tau, you can calculate it. Now, second case, they are asking gain margin is given 2. So from gain margin, you can find what? Amplitude ratio at crossover frequency, you can find it. Clear? That you will get it. So what is the equation for amplitude ratio at crossover frequency? That will be equal to, there is a Kc is there. 2 is as it is. Kc will be for the proportional controller. For dead time system, there is no amplitude ratio, 1. For first order, it will be what? Root of 1 plus tau square omega square. So if you square it, you will get it. Right? You will get this particular value. So now you can solve it, right? So tau value is there, 5.39 is there, right? So tau value is available. So remaining you can find. Clear? Let me share the question once again. Those who don't have the book, right? Right, so correct, 2.86, that's correct. Those who don't have the question, please see the That I hope all of you are getting right. So question number 62. Right. In question number 62, right? If you see the graph, right? I don't have that figure, right? So let me check once again. Right. If you see that question number 62, this diagram is kind of this, right? I think this is the diagram. So this diagram, from this diagram itself, you should understand it is a PD, right? It is a PD controller diagram. So that you need to remember from the shape of the diagrams. You should remember from what? Your equation, that is your Bode diagrams, right? So if you see this diagram resembles to your PD controller, right? This diagram resembles to your PD controller, and you can see the corner frequency given is 10, right? They have given the corner frequency equal to 10. And if you see out of the options given, right? If you see the out of the options given, which one matches with the PD controller, right? So that is the first step you need to understand, like which one is matching with the PD controller. So first of all, what is the transfer function of PD controller? You need to remember, right? So if you see the transfer function of PD controller, right? So GC is equal to KC into PD controller, means it will be 1 plus tau D into S, right? So this is your transfer function of the PD controller, right? And according to the question, right? So how to find the corner frequency? Omega into tau D is equal to 1. This is the way we will find the corner frequency. So what will be the corner frequency? 1 divided by tau D, right? So according to this, right? According to this, the value of tau D, right? So you should get the value of tau D, right? So based on that, you can find. So only option corresponding to that, if you see S plus 10, right? If you see S plus 10, if you take 10 outside, you will be getting what? 0.1 S plus 1. This is in the form of what? PD controller, right? So the problem will be solved, right? So if you see the other options, right, that particular option is not available. Clear? So this is the way to solve this question, right? So remembering the shape is important for this problem, right? So PD controller, PI controller, first order, how we will be having the shape, right? That is important. Next part. So what was the next question number? Question number 18, I guess. If you see question number 18, I hope this question, yes, 1, 2 answers are there, right? So question number 18. No, not this time, not this time. Okay, I will read the question. Okay, no problem. Consider a system with open loop transfer function and match the range of omega in group. So you have 3 first order systems. So please, those who have the book, you can see that 18 question. You have 3 first order systems in series, right? You have 3 first order systems in series. So find it. So G1 of S is, right? G1 of S, G2 of S, and G3 of S. G1 of S, G2 of S, and G3 of S. You have 3 first order systems in series: 1 by S plus 1, 2S plus 1, 5S plus 1. Two S plus 1 and 1 by 5S plus 1. Right? 1 by S plus 1, 2S plus 1, and 5S plus 1. Now, check the diagram of first order system, how we are going to draw the first order system diagram, right? What will be the Bode plot for first order system? So check the Bode plot of first order system. Right? If you remember the Bode plot of first order system, it was going to be like this, right? Right, it will be going to be like this, that is, it will go straight up to a corner frequency, and then it will go decreasing, right? Then it will go decreasing. So up to corner frequency, from 0 to corner frequency, this is what? 0 to infinity, right? 0 to corner frequency, it is a straight line, then it will be decreasing. So can we combine these three into one graph? Right. So we will be able to combine these three in first graph. So first, what will be the corner frequency? Tell me. Here, what will be the corner frequency? And here. So both three cases, tell me the corner frequency. Then we will draw the diagram. Corner frequency for both three cases. Type it in. What are the corner frequency values? When tau1 is 1, right? When tau1 is 1, what will be the corner frequency? Omega c into tau is equal to 1, right? So when tau1 is equal to 1, your corner frequency will also be 1. Second case, it will be 0.5. Third case, it will be 0.2. Clear? So 0.2, 0.5, 0.1, right? So this will be your corner frequencies, right? So this will be your corner frequency. So it is simple to draw now. 1 minute. That is, if you draw the whole diagrams. So for the first case, your diagram will be like this. That is, this is from 0 to infinity. You need to mark what? 0.2. You need to mark 0.5. You need to mark 1. Right? 0.2, 0.5, 1. You need to mark, right? That is 0.2, 0.5, 1. And for the first diagram, right? For the first diagram, if you see, up to 1, it is a straight line. Then it is going down. Negative slope. Clear? For the first case, up to 1, it is a straight line. Then it is going. Now, in the second case, up to 0.5, it is a straight line. Then it is going down. The third case, up to 0.2, it is a straight line. Then it is going. Right. So how will you combine these three and draw? Right. How we are going to combine these three and we are going to draw? You can see here. From 0 to 0.2, right? You have straight line, straight line, straight line. So your combination, that is the combination of all the diagram. First case, you will be having straight line, that is no slope. Here slope is 0, here slope is 0, here slope is 0. So straight line slope, no slope is there. Now, from 0.2 to 0.5, what will be the value of the slope? Tell me. From 0.2 to 0.5, what will be the value of the slope? Here the slope is 0. For this line, slope is 0. This line, the slope is 0. This line, the slope is -1. So second case, your slope will be -1. So 0.2 to this, it will be -1. Now here from 0.5 to 1, -1, it will become -2. After that, it will become -3. Clear? So I'm combining it again here itself. Here the slope is -1. Right, don't see the diagram. Okay, right. That is, slope will be like this. Here, slope is -1, slope is -2, slope is -3. Now, from the options, you can select which is the option. Right. If you see the option here in the diagram, if you see the diagram, 0 to 0.2, what is the slope? 0 to 0.2, the slope is 0, right? 0 to 0.2, your slope is 0. So P answer will be 5, right? So omega greater than 1. So omega greater than 1 in the sense here, omega greater than 1, the slope is -3. So Q will be 2. So option A will be correct, right? Option A will be correct. Clear? So this is the way we'll be drawing the Bode plot. This is the only question to draw the Bode plot. Clear? So this is the point. So the doubt questions are over. Right. So I think it is done. That's all. Right. So we're stopping here. It's already 4:40. Right. So tomorrow from 3 to 4:30 again we will try to keep, right, so that our syllabus will be over. Right. So other than this, that is cascade control, feed forward control, and wall characteristics we will discuss tomorrow. Right. So once again, go through these things. And we will meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. I'm stopping.